a winter soldier. But alas, my duty is to inform you of certain medias and the Falcon, and the Winter Soldier is the current media that the people should be informed about today. So, let's talk about it. The episode number 2 opens with the new Captain America, who is John Walker, and he is on Good Morning America. Yes. He talks about he's nervous. I guess he's just nervous, but he seems qualified for the job, and he's excited to be Captain America. He's tired of shaking hands with high-level government officials, and he doesn't want to attend any more cocktail parties. He wants to save the world. Yes. Let's look at Bucky and Sam. Where are they at? They are on their way to Munich, where they will intercept some super soldiers who have just stolen vaccines, and they encounter them on the road and have an epic fight on 2 18-wheelers. And they seem to be outnumbered and overtaken, but John Walker, aka Captain America 2.0, and his black friend seems to have come just in time. Oh, yes! Well, they lose anyways, but John Walker, he wants to work with Bucky and Sam. But Bucky and Sam doesn't want to work with John Walker. Now, John Walker, Sam, and Bucky have a disagreement. And after their argument, and by they I mean Bucky and Sam, decide to leave and not help the new Captain America. So Bucky and Sam, they go back to the USA, and Bucky decides he's going to introduce Sam to Isaiah. Now, nobody knows who Isaiah is. He's been a secret for a very, very long time. Bucky decides he's going to find him in a neighborhood, I believe it was in Brooklyn. Well, they go and they meet with Isaiah. Isaiah seems to be a super soldier, part of the same experiment that the original Captain America was a part of. Now, let's talk about Isaiah a little bit. He's a bitter old man. He was in the Korean War, and he was the closest one to fighting and beating Bucky when he was the Winter Soldier. Yes. Now, you find out that after the Korean War, he was put in prison. Isaiah was put in prison for 30 years. 30. It's a very long time. Now, he's very angry about this, and he was experimented on because he's a super soldier. People want to know why. And he, after they visit with Isaiah, Bucky decides he's going to visit with Zemo. He's the one from Age of Ultron. He was the one who programmed the Winter Soldier. He knows a lot about Hydra, and it's his connections to Hydra. But I'm like, why would you go to Hydra? We're dealing with super soldiers. What do we know about Hydra? And then I had to go back and watch, and it turns out that the United States government wasn't the only ones experimenting on Isaiah. Isaiah said that, and I quote, "Your people were experimenting on me too." That's not an exact quote, but when he said your people, I assumed he was talking about white people. Because he seems pretty bitter about race relations, and that seems to be the direction that the show is going in. But it turns out when he said your people, what he really meant was Hydra. And so they leave Isaiah's house, and immediately cops surround them. Oh no! I see, suspicious. What's happening? Now apparently they saw them arguing, and they're like, "Hey, cops, zero tolerance for discord in the streets." Apparently, they ask for their identification, and Sam says, and I quote, "I have no ID." Now, this is a very strange sentence. I believe the normal response if you do not have identification on you would be, "I don't have any ID." But that is not what Sam said. Sam said, "I do not have ID," which leads me to believe that Sam does not have a state ID, a driver's license, a Blockbuster rewards card, a passport. How is Sam traveling all over the world without a passport? Highly suspicious. But that doesn't matter very much. It turns out Bucky is the one who's in trouble because he missed his therapy session, and so he's been arrested. But luckily, John Waters, he decides to release, or to at least get Bucky released from prison. That leads to a very awkward therapy session with Bucky and Sam. Apparently, the therapist is trying to play matchmaker with Sam and Bucky. Ow! I don't know how this will end. We'll have to keep watching. Maybe they'll fall in love and get married. But that is another episode. But they decide they're going to free Zemo. I said that earlier. And that is how it ends. 2, episode 3, I will talk about it another time. I believe the format is comment and subscribe. I will see you when I watch episode 3. Goodbye, my friend.